Hello everyone, I'm your hostess with the mostest 8-second gaming. In today's video, we are going to be talking about something new that Overwatch has brought in with this new season. And this thing actually happens to be extremely broken. So not only are we going to be breaking down what this exactly is, but we're also going to be telling you how to utilize it to its fullest. But also, if you guys are going to be looking to take your Overwatch skill to the next level, then you need to check out the GameLeap website right now. Over there we have top level coaches, including myself, creating the best, most highly informative guides to make you the best player you can possibly be. No matter what you struggle with, we have the solution for you. So click the link in the description, pick yourself up a membership, and start to improve today. But okay, let's jump into things. And what is this new feature that is so broken that we are freaking out about it? Well, it is a new and unique crowd control effect named Hinder, which is essentially a stun but works differently from regular stuns or even disable effects. This effect is applied by a few different things. Some of the more insignificant ones do include Junkrat's Trap and Zarya's Graviton Surge, but other than what the effect actually does, we won't be talking about those abilities. So what does this effect exactly do? It's actually considerably inconsistent. One of the biggest exceptions to it denying mobility even within passives is Baptiste when he shifts for his high jump. In other circumstances, Hinder completely negates all movement, including Kiriko, Genji, and Hanzo's wall climb and double jump. That inconsistency can lead to some confusion behind its usage, but it also has the ability to either cancel or completely take away Junker Queen's ultimate. It does factor in which point you cancel the animation in because it does also count as a movement ability, but this will also cancel Pharah, Echo, and Mercy's ability to fly or hover in the air whatsoever. And as you can imagine, this can be extremely impactful, so let's talk about the real subject of the video now, how to squeeze the most value out of this new mechanic. It's essentially like Sombra's hack without the visual or damaging benefit. And who makes up for that more than Cassidy, as he is the only hero who can use this effect freely. They couldn't have made it much easier for him to hinder people other than to make the lock-on for his grenade bigger than it already is. And being able to throw it across the map kinda seems broken, no? Well, for Blizzard, it isn't quite broken enough, but what do we expect? Cassidy, we expect now that we have a much better understanding of his completely reworked ability to be one of, if not the strongest DPS heroes in the game, as he can completely negate Wrecking Ball, Doomfist, and many other heroes that he either already countered like Pharah, Mercy, and Echo, or heroes he either didn't have much impact into other than being able to shoot them, again like Wrecking Ball. He is just Sombra now. He's still the same old shooting high damage consistent pick finding powerhouse, but with the ability to completely negate engages onto him. And with that, he can find some insane plays such as completely negating and taking away Junker Queen's ultimate, as we have mentioned before. Now apparently Blizzard didn't think that was too overpowered, but we sure as hell do, and we will make sure Blizzard realizes it. But how does this actually change Cassidy, you may be asking yourself? Well, he isn't actually played the same way as before, and that is for sure. Obviously, with an entire rework of one of his abilities, he will be played completely differently, especially with a kit as simple as his now not being so simple. You no longer have extremely high duel potential. You can't disrespect enemies by going on a solo hunt or flank to take out the enemy team's backline like you may have been able to do and get away with before. Because if a Genji or Tracer wish to duel you, your old grenade did as much damage as a headshot. That was pretty terrifying, but now your grenade is only terrifying to people's mobility, not their health bar. And they will play around this fact. That's something you need to keep in mind. This means you don't necessarily have no duel potential against a Tracer or Genji with your ability to take away their movement. You certainly still do have a chance, it just means you won't be as free as before. Now, off-angle on Cassidy needs to be done with more in mind, making sure that if playing against heroes with such mobility that you wish to take away, they aren't engaging onto your team as you look to find picks from different positions. Your team may and will most likely be relying on you to completely negate a ball engage. So if you rotate away from the team just as he goes in, that is your fault. So as you can imagine, you will want to be with the team more. Good thing Cassidy works with basically any team composition. When you off angle, you must be anchored to your team much harder than before, meaning you can't stray from the crowd all that much since, as we just discussed, you have less duel potential overall. But what team compositions can you do this best on? Well, let's take a look at Brawl. Junker Queen, Ramatra, Orisa, Reinhardt, these are all amazing heroes to play with Cassidy. You can play with the safety of your tank and have a great idea of where they will be at all times, unlike dive compositions, meaning you can look to off angle for a quick pick much more freely than otherwise. And one of the biggest counters to Brawl, taking away Junker Queen at least, is a Ball or Doomfist type of composition. Most of the time you would run heroes like Sombra to deny their engage, but now that's unnecessary to say the least. We can't state enough how much Cassidy is basically like a Sombra now. He gives a slight inability to use key abilities, which is exactly what you would look for on a Sombra. Granted, the grenade will be significantly harder to hit than Sombra's hack, but it is still not that difficult to pull off, especially on a Wrecking Ball's massive hitbox inside or outside of ball form. So you know how to play with the team, maybe strafen them a little bit, when to stay with them. How do you play around this menace of a hero? Well, as a tank, creating space is done in many ways. Your dive should be with the intention to open up an opportunity for Cassidy to deny their abilities that would otherwise bring them to safety or flat out eliminate them from the fight. Thanks to this new patch for bringing the first option, by the way. And as a support, nothing has really changed for you. There aren't particular supports that work better or worse with Cassidy. Mercy certainly enables him a lot in comparison to the other DPS, as a good Cassidy-Mercy duo can feel near unplayable against, and this patch will make that even more evident. Moral of the story being, he doesn't need a nano, so picking the supports that work well with your tank will do just fine, as it will mainly be the tank supporting the Cassidy to make plays. And what should you avoid playing against him? Well, that's a lot of things now, unfortunately, so let's have a long talk about them. Pharmacy or Echo have even less of a chance against him than before. He already had the ability to two-shot you out of the sky, and now he can quite literally take you out of the sky with his grenade. Therefore, if not killing you, canceling you. What does that mean for your positioning? Well, as an inability to fly to high ground out of fear of him for hitting you in the head twice or the body once and then the head, you can't fly anywhere near his team. Doing so risks being taken out of the sky by his grenade and putting you smack dab in the middle of the enemy team on the floor where anyone can just take you out. And Echo is no different than Pharah in this regard. Thankfully, Mercy does not get dropped to the floor while in her ultimate and is still able to fly freely, which by the way refers to the inconsistency within this hinder effect, as she almost certainly should not be able to do so. Echo, on the other hand, not so lucky. She's gonna fall just the same as Pharah. Wrecking Ball is going to be about as unplayable into Cassidy as Sombra, give or take. Going into the enemy team will end up one of two ways. You either get hindered as you grapple in, canceling your grapple and potentially pile drive if you used it, or you get hindered trying to get out, canceling your speed depending on the moment of which you were hindered. The big difference between playing against Cassidy or Sombra as a ball player is that hack will take you out of ball form, hinder will not. So Cassidy is absolutely safe to engage into as a ball, as even if you can't grapple or pile drive, you can be headshot and you will still be able to roll fairly safely away. Now, Tracer and Genji will still be excellent picks into him. Cass is able to deny your mobility, sure, but only if he has the grenade land, and both can now do an excellent job of evading this, so their mobility isn't taken from them in the first place. But what is likely the best pick into Cassidy? Well, nothing. There are literally no good DPS picks into Cassidy. Now take this with a bit of a grain of salt. I mean, there are picks that do work into him, like the ones that we just mentioned. Also, Hanzo, Widow, and Ashe all find good value into Cassidy. It's just that they aren't any strong, hard counters into him. Maybe you could argue Bastion, but that's a real stretch. He just has a great ability to fight everyone. If you get too close, you risk his right-click combo where he just spams it and rolls. And while those three snipers with more range can deal with him, it's not like he doesn't have a fighting chance, unlike Widow against Tracer or Genji. Which leads us on to our next point: who do you play as a DPS player with Cassidy? Well, Tracer and Genji are great. Sombra always feels nice but may not be as useful now, as he can fill her job fairly well into most compositions. Still, it would be better than the addition of a Hanzo in most scenarios. It's likely you will see Cassidy vs Cassidy matchups, so anything that can help with this is a plus. Which could even include Sojourn, as now she can swap her focus from farming the enemy tank up until she has rail to hunting down the enemy Cassidy. But it's still very likely overall the best pick with Cassidy will be Tracer or Genji. They just complement each other too well. They hunt down heroes Cassidy can't, and both want to duel enemy flankers, which would also be looking to make it onto your Cass. But let's be honest, you only want to play them if you don't already have a Cassidy. And now that you know how to abuse Hinder, that's exactly what you should do. But let me know your opinions on Hinder in the comments down below. And if you guys want to stay up to date with the latest and greatest Overwatch tips, tricks, and news, don't forget to smash the like and subscribe button. Thanks all for watching. Once again, Mates and Game, and I'll see you guys in the next one. But also, if you guys are going to be looking to take your Overwatch skill to the next level, then you need to check out the GameLeap website right now. Over there, we have top level coaches, including myself, creating the best, most highly informative guides to make you the best player you can possibly be. No matter what you struggle with, we have the solution for you. So click the link in the description, pick yourself up a membership, and start to improve today.